From the CyberHub bunker and studio, you're tuning in to the CyberHub Podcast. And now for your host and CISO, James Azar.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the CyberHub Podcast. It's Thursday, September 29th, 2022. And it's our end show of the week, right? I don't do shows on Friday. Typically, I'm looking to change that. I won't lie. I'm looking to maybe add another Friday show. We used to do them, but I've been so busy lately, and I've kind of held off on doing them. But we're pretty sure we're gonna bring them back. We actually had a conversation on that yesterday, so more news to follow there. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Please make sure to subscribe. Go to our YouTube channel, subscribe there. Go find us on your favorite podcast listening platform, Apple Podcast, Google Play, Spotify, wherever you choose to listen to your podcast. Find the CyberHub Podcast there. Give us a 5-star rating. Help boost us up in the ranking, and make sure to subscribe there as well. We're going to get into this morning's show, but before we do, we'll grab our morning cup of Joe. If you're a first-time listener or a first-time viewer of the show, I always like to take part in a cup of coffee, kind of a tribute to all the things as we go through this morning to power us through the next 10 minutes or so. Coffee cup cheers, folks. Cybersecurity Awareness Month is right around the corner, isn't it? A few more days, folks, and everything you'll see will be like, why culture and security is so important, and I hope you're ready for it. All right, here we go. L2 network security control bypass flaws are impacting multiple Cisco products. Cisco has confirmed that tens of its enterprise routers and switches are impacted by a bypass vulnerability in the layer 2 network security control. An attacker could bypass the controls provided by these enterprise devices by sending crafted packets that would trigger a denial of service and allow them to perform a man-in-the-middle attack. A total of 4 medium severity security issues were found in the L2 security controls in the Ethernet encapsulation protocols, the CERT Coordination Center at the Carnegie Mellon University, according to the advisories. They're tracked as CVE 2021 27853, 27854, 27861, and 27862. Each of these vulnerabilities represent a different type of bypass of layer 2 network packet inspection functionality. The bug allows for stacking of virtual local area network headers and 802.2 LLC and snap headers, enabling an attacker to bypass the device's various filtering capabilities, including the IPv6 RA guard, dynamic ARP inspection, IPv6 neighbor discovery protection. CERT says that more than 200 vendors have warned of these vulnerabilities, but only 2 of them have confirmed impact, namely Cisco and Juniper. The software releases and patches are now in place for these with 17.6.3 and 17.8.1. So you want to make sure to get those updated. Auth0 warns that some of its source code repos may have been stolen. Authentication service provider and Okta subsidiary Auth0 have disclosed what it called a security event involving some of its code repositories. Auth0's authentication platform is used to authenticate 42 million logins each day by more than 2,000 enterprise customers from 30 countries, including the likes of AMD, Siemens, Pfizer, Mazda, and Subaru. As the company revealed in a blog post on Monday of this week, multiple code repositories archived from 2020 and earlier, predating the Okta acquisition of February this year, were obtained by unknown means from its environment. In late August, a third-party individual notified Okta that they possessed a copy of a certain Auth0 code repository dating from October 2020 and earlier. The investigation hasn't revealed any customer impact from this event, and no action is required by the customers. They are saying that this is an environment there. And by the way, I mean, you're seeing this, and Okta's been at the headlines for a whole slew of all the wrong reasons recently. This just adds to it. This is a backdoor. This is an ability to examine source code. Log4j, so much came from SolarWinds, by the way, that impacted Microsoft and had downstream impacts all the way down to Kaseya, right? And so this one obviously doesn't give me a good fuzzy feeling about Auth0 at all at this time. And there weren't a lot of details for it. They're saying we're not really sure, everything is secure, but then again, how would you know if the source code repositories, even if archived, could give a hint to what's going on within your code environment and could provide a sophisticated attacker the ability to look at these 42 million logins and go, all right, you're trying to go passwordless. We'll find a way to break it. And this is how we're going to do it. American business magazine Fast Company has confirmed that its Apple News account was hijacked after attackers compromised its CMS system. The monthly magazine focuses on business, tech, and design. In addition to its online version, the magazine publishes 6 print issues each year. On Tuesday evening, Apple News took it to Twitter to announce that Fast Company's account was suspended after attackers used it to post 2 offensive messages. An incredibly offensive alert was sent by Fast Company, which had been hacked, and Apple News had disabled their channel. A few hours later, Fast Company confirmed via Twitter that its Apple News account was hijacked after hackers had gained access to its CMS. Fast Company's Apple News, while hacked, 2 obscene and racist push notifications were sent about a minute apart. The messages are vile and not in line with the content and ethos of Fast Company. The publication also announced that it has suspended both the feed and its website and continues to be offline. So they're trying to see the impact of this one, but it just shows you how easy it is. Grab someone's CMS, be able to push it out to Apple News, and you can create a whole slew. This one, offensive and racist, but if you really want to do a dent, you do that with stocks or companies or whatnot. IRS is warning Americans of a massive rise in SMS phishing attack. And the reason I brought this up is because, yes, we're seeing a ton of it. Are you training your staff for this? I can tell you that this has long been an agenda item for myself. How do we start to talk about SMS phishing different from email phishing? We're so focused on email phishing, we're forgetting that most of our employees will sometimes have their cell phone number out. It'll be part of a database, or if they're trying to get a phone call from a vendor or a partner or a customer, they could give out their cell phone number. And with that, this kind of stuff happens. So something to keep in mind. And as we go into Cybersecurity Awareness Month, maybe it's time we change the conversation just a little bit to phishing. The Kaiji botnet Successor Chaos is targeting Linux and Windows system. Black Lotus Labs, Lumen Technologies threat intel team has issued a warning on Chaos, a new variant of the Kaiji distributed denial of service botnet, targeting enterprise and large organization. The Gulang-based Kaiji malware emerged in early of 2020, targeting Linux systems and IoT devices via SSH brute force attacks. By mid-2020, the threat was also targeting Docker servers. The recently observed Chaos malware is run also in Go and uses SSH brute force attack to infect new machines and devices. Additionally, it also targets known vulnerabilities and uses stolen SSH keys for infection. The threat works on multiple architectures, including ARM, Intel, MIPS, and PowerPC. It can run on both Linux and Windows, according to Black Lotus. Once it's infected a device, Chaos establishes persistence and connects to an embedded command and control server. Next, it receives staging commands, such as to start propagation via a known CVE or SSH, or to begin IP spoofing. Keep your eye on this botnet. It's probably going to cause some chaos. Most of the infections are in Europe, North and South America, and Asia, but just say the whole world. It's not targeting Australia and New Zealand for some reason, maybe because there's more sheep in New Zealand than people, and Australia has 25 million people, and it's not nearly as lucrative as the other parts of the world, potentially. Just saying. Finally, if you've been offline, you might not know this, but Iran's going through another uprising, this time targeting their decency police after the death of Mahsa Amini in custody. She was in custody because allegedly her hijab, she wasn't properly wearing her hijab. They could see her hair, and apparently hair in Iran triggers men. And so they beat her to death, is what's going on there now. As a result of that, the women and people of Iran have stood up and are fighting the evil regime there from the 1979 Islamic Revolution. And Khamenei, its a spiritual leader who's turned a very secular Iran into a very religious country that is the number one state sponsor of terror in the world today. As such, these protests have been receiving a whole slew of support. Among them, we're seeing a whole lot of information leaks coming against the government officials, as well as maps of prominent locations Elon Musk's Starlink is over Iran providing internet, as the government there tried to cut off access to the internet for many of the people trying out to protest. The images coming out of there are starkly, they're really significant, and let's hope that this time they're able to topple this regime and bring back freedom and power to the people of Iran. With that being said, that's the end of our show. But if you're watching from Florida, if you're in Florida, if you know someone in Florida, our thoughts and prayers are with the people over in Florida, all the way from Fort Myers to Tampa and across that great state of Florida. As Hurricane Ian, a Category 4, has caused a significant amount of damage. And so our thoughts and prayers are with everyone there. Folks, enjoy the rest of your day. For the people of Florida, stay safe. All right, and I know help's on the way there. So thanks y'all for tuning in. Thanks for being part of the show. Make sure to subscribe, and we'll see y'all on Monday with a whole lot more. Till then, stay cyber safe.
We love feedback, so make sure to connect with us on social media and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform.